When a language dies, a way of understanding the world dies with it. A way of looking at the world synergy. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone. So I'm Alya Afifah Izwandi, and I'm from University of Samudra. I'm here because I love to give presentations to answer all of the questions below. So for the first question is, why should you as a future English language teacher studying ELT or ELE give your own explanation? So first of all, I love language in my world also since I was childhood full of linguistic. And secondly, I need to know at least method, technique, etc. It's not about me, it's all of the future English language teacher and the future itself about being a good language teacher. So in the global, most of the communication is done in English. As a medium of teaching, as everyone knows that it is comprehensive or worldwide language where the present globe is forging ahead by connecting itself to others, carrying out their harmonious relationships in English language teaching or English language education, especially when English is connected to classroom teaching, CRT. It plays a very significant role in engrossing the student attention. Also, to acquire good communication skill or to excel in communication skill itself, one has to acquire expertise in all the four skills, as you can see from the slide. Also, before a student acquires with all the skills, he or she has to develop interest toward the subject or language. Am I? In this regard, the teacher plays a very prominent role in attracting the students' attention by creating interest among the student. A teacher should play the various roles such as learner, facilitator, assessor, manager, and also evaluator. Before teaching itself, the students and a teacher has to first place himself or herself as a learner and think from the learner's perspective. In doing so, student can capture with interest. Importantly, in this classroom, teacher roles can be discussed with learner as a part of the student preparation, along with other characteristics of curriculum. Also, learner can imagine about what roles they wish for their teacher, how this inclination fits in with other aspects of the learning method, and also why the teacher chooses every role. What the aims of ELT? According to Thompson and Riyad, 1952, the first specific aim of teaching English is to understand spoken English, to speak English, to understand written English, to write English. So I'm going to explain by my understanding. The first one is to understand spoken English. The student should be able to understand spoken English required in ordinary conversation, exchange of greetings, receiving orders and direction, also listening to lectures, and etc. Competence can be achieved if we give opportunities to our students to listen to English news, conversation, the narration of the short story, also TED Talks, and etc. Secondly, to speak English. A student is required to produce sounds with proper stress and intonation. Speech occupies a distinctive position in bearing a language and is the base for our language learning. We expect our students to talk fluently in English. Thirdly, to understand written English, we expect our students to be able to understand the written English in the books, magazines, newspaper, and etc. It is also expected that he or she will be able to take on English as a medium instruction and examination in his or her studies. Yes. Last but not least, to write English. Writing English isn't the way less than speaking English. And teaching English, we aim to enabling our students to write in English simple letters, application, description, and accounts of events. Also, such ability is required in offices. It also needed in school and college, also university, for taking notes of lecture delivered in English, right? So for the next question is, what are the essential characteristics of a good language? A good language teacher. Learning a language can feel like a daunting task and a seemingly impossible achievement. In this case, about teaching a language, however, can seem even more intimidating. We all have at least one teacher that we remember fondly, right? At least one that made a great impact on shaping our learning, right? And language teacher itself, especially are extraordinary individuals. They face an incredible challenge teaching the intricacies or a first, second, or even the third language. So what stands out most about our most memorable teacher who helped us learn our first or second language without giving up on us? There is a very long list that makes this profession as our calling. Here are some of the essential characteristics that made a good language teacher. First, competence and passions. The requirements to any teacher is to know his or her subject well. However, in most cases, it is vital to remember that as a teacher, you're guiding a learner to new knowledge and helping them discover the subject you are teaching. And doing is learning. This is especially important in language teaching, as many students may enter the course as a complete beginners, false beginners, or have little knowledge of the language but lack confidence. And as a teacher, as a future teacher, recognizing what the learner knows and doesn't know is a paramount. So second, personalized learning environment. Every individual learn develop differently, right? Changing the classroom itself, changing the classroom environment itself in a manner to customize learning can be extremely beneficial to students and lead to increased motivation. Third, hopefulness. The best way to accomplish this is to remain hopeful and encouraging yourself. And also, your level of hopefulness is contagious and inspires students to learn and believe that they can pick up the language, right? Also, the third, be passionate and generate passion. You are obviously passionate about learning in the language and communicating in it. It is important, however, that you bring this passion in full force when teaching it as well. Five, connect. And you can see six, mistake and mistake is learning happening. Seven, language learners development stage. Eight, explore different teaching method. And nine, teacher training and development. And last but not least, hold student accountable. Finally, it is essential to remember that everyone can learn anything. It is innate in all of us. And also the teacher responsibility is to find all the ways to facilitate that learning itself. Also, importantly, a good teacher would make sure that all learners take responsibility for the learning right from the start. So for the next question, explain 8 learning style based on Oxford and Anderson 1995 and give the examples of them. So 8 of them, we have, as you can see from the slide. For the first one is sensory preference can be broken down into 4 main areas: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile. Sensory preferences itself refer to the physical perceptual learnings channels with which the student is the most comfortable. And visual students like to read and obtain a great deal from a visual stimulation. So for example, from the RED 1987 demonstrate the English second language ASL students are varied significantly in their sensory preference, with the people from certain cultures differentially favoring the 3 different modalities for learning. Students from Asian cultures, with Koreans being the most visual, also, and the many studies itself, including rates, found that Hispanic learners were very equally auditory. And Reid also discovered that Japanese are very non-auditory. As you can see that students vary from ESL. It's significantly their culture, certain cultures differently. Second, personality types. Another style aspect that is important for L2 education that is personality type, which consists of four strengths: extroverted versus introvert, intuitive render versus sensing sequential, thinking versus willing, also closer oriented or judging versus open or perceiving. And personality type itself is a construct based on the work of psychologists Carl Jung and Oxford. And they found a number of significant relationships between personality and L2 proficiency in native English speaking learners of varying language. Next, as you can see, extroverted versus introverted. I thought that you guys know about it. Intuitive random versus sensing sequential. And this is intuitive random students think in abstract, futuristic, large scale, and also non-sequential way. They like to create theories and use possibility, and also often have sudden insight and prefer to guide their own learning. In contrast, sensing sequential itself learner are grounded in the here and now, and they like facts rather than theories, want to guidance and specific instruction from the teacher and look for instead. Also thinking from versus feeling, as you can see from the slide, I know that thinking learners are oriented toward the start truth, even if it hurts some people's feeling. And yeah, in comparison, feeling learner value other people in very personal ways. So next, closure oriented or judging versus open or perceiving. Closure of oriented students want to reach judgment or completion quickly and want clarity as soon as possible. The students are serious, hardworking learners who like to be given written information, enjoy specific tasks with deadlines. In contrast, the open or perceiving student itself or learner itself want to stay available for continuously news percepting and are therefore sometimes called perceiving. So next is our degree of generality. This trend contrasts the learner who focus on the main idea or with big picture, the learner itself who concentrates on detail and biological differences. Differences in L2 learning styles can also be related to biological factors such as biorhythms, sustenance, and location. Yeah, they reveal the times of day when students feel good and perform their best. Last but not least, beyond the stylistic conversion, L2 learners clearly need to make the most of their style preferences. However, occasionally they must also extend themselves beyond their style preferences. So that's all about learning styles from Oxford. So for the next question is, why every foreign language teacher needs to know about second language equation or SLR? So first of all, second language acquisition as a field of research studies how we acquire second or non-native language, because the main job of a language teacher itself is to facilitate this process of acquisition, and it's beneficial for the teacher to have good understanding of the process. So the process or why this is the process result have direct consequence on how we should teach, such as processing input for meaning in a target language is a crucial for acquisition to happen, and also explicit knowledge about language is different from proficiency in language. And also we don't need to expect the student to be able to use a rule of grammar and a spontaneous speech just because you thought about it. Yeah, we don't need to expect about it. And the last acquisition itself is a slow plasmal process and resistant to external manipulation. We shouldn't have unrealistic exception. We shouldn't think that students are lazy or stupid just because they won't be able to use some things that we thought about it, and etc. about the process itself. And if language teacher don't have sufficient knowledge about the research and theory, they might have false assumption how learning might happen, right? And they might base their teaching method to flaw reasoning, or they might have unrealistic expectation. That's impossible. So 5, how the challenges of receptive process and foreign language context. Based on my research, common problem also faced by the EFL students is their poor insight into English due to their discouragement to read. From Akbari 2015, as you can see, the lack of motivation can affect their comprehension, and while reading processes such as difficulty in learning indefinite word and pronouncing some words, Mejadi 2015. And for the major listening problems are losing concentration while listening process itself because of anxiety and unable to listen due to bad recording audio. That's feeling on myself also. And the speed of speech itself, accent of the speaker, and inadequate vocabulary. So for the next, for the last question actually, how to demonstrate teaching, speaking, and writing effectively. So I have already divided this to two parts. Yeah, of course, speaking and writing. First is speaking. Encourage conversation. Every social interaction gives students a new opportunity to practice language, right? Some of our students might need a little guidance from us to engage in conversation itself. So spark interaction whenever you can. Second, model synthetic structure. Our students may not use complete oral syntax in informal speech, but encourage them to do so when they are in the classroom. When the students uses fragmented syntax, model complete syntax back to them. Last, maintain eye contact. Engage in eye contact with students during instruction and encourage them to do the same. And for your information, maintaining eye contact will help learners gauge their audience attention and adjust their language, also their balance and organization of their speech itself. Also, this is about writing. So first is view the improvement of students' writing as your responsibility. First of all, teaching writing is not only the job of the English department alone. Writing is an essential tool for learning a discipline, and helping students to improve their writing skills is a responsibility for all faculty, right? And second, let students know that you value good writing. Stress the importance of clear, thoughtful writing, and the faculty who tells students that good writing will be rewarded and poor writing will be penalized receive better insight than instructor who don't make such demands. And last, regularly assign brief writing exercise in your classes. To vary the pace of lecture course as a student to write a few minutes during class. Also, some mixture of in a class writing. Also, a set writing assignment and exam with open-ended question will give students the practice they need to improve their skills. So I thought that's all about answer for all of the question itself. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, thank you, ma'am, to watch my video. I hope this is a benefit for make useful to all of you and English education or English literature. Yeah, that's all. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.